start looking into some of the issues that we have. Look at the issues and see what can you put in place to minimize the issues or to even eliminate. So a disciplinary action has to be predictable, you foresee, you're able to foresee. Immediate, consistent, impersonal. Impersonal means what? You are targeting the action, not the person. Remember? Okay. So when you are handling a disciplinary action, you have to always consider the severity of the misconduct. Sometimes a misconduct, and I'll go back to this case of 1 minute late. I have a huge problem with that. Because the 1 minute late, 20 days they are late 20 minutes in a month. Is that terrible? It's only 1 minute late. Okay? Think. To what extent is the employee responsible? Sometimes a misconduct can be because of somebody else, and then the employee pula kena. Subang? Yes, it can happen. Because there was no monitoring from the senior level, no proper feedback. The senior didn't get feedback. The senior thought everything is fine and dandy. 1 year later, the problem surfaces. So who's the scapegoat? The employee. So when the matter comes to HR only knows 50% of the issue. The remaining 50% hidden under the carpet. Circumstances in which the misconduct was committed. Again, going back to the throwing check. What was the circumstances? Maybe at that day his temper was up, his high blood pressure was up. He lost it. The class was unruly. Did we check on that? Did we investigate? Okay? Past record of delinquent employee. These are people who have got so many past cases. But somehow or other, no action was taken. You can look at past record, yeah? Past record can be considered in the courts. Bad past record would be aggravating evidence. And you can actually use that to mitigate. So if they have an aggravating reasoning, you can mitigate. The employee will be. Do you all understand what that means? No? Okay, what this means, Hajar, is bad past record will be aggravating, all good past record will be mitigating. This is, I'll go back to the bad past record. You have a teacher who's been in the school for 4 years, frequently late, like the case in Johor. So finally we took action. The whole of 2024 was show cause, warning, show cause, warning, show cause, warning. Finally show cause, reply, PI, he resigned. That is bad past record. But somebody who has been an excellent employee for 17 years, suddenly something happened. He snapped. Do you think he planned to snap that day? So these are considerations that you must take into account. So even you as a HR, when a case comes to you, first thing is look at his record, look at his file. First thing is check, has this happened before? Or is this the first time? If it has happened before, how long ago was the last incident? That is your job. First thing is you check. Then you strategize. Then you come up with a recommended action plan with your service principal or your line manager. Correct? So this is what I did in Johor. This is a disciplinary misconduct, kind of a simplified process. Code of conduct policy, remember? This is your most important item. This is the most important document that you must make reference to in dealing with any, whether it's minor, major, or criminal misconduct. So, once you have must always remember, yeah, and you need to tell this to your SLTs. Notify the line manager, notify the HR, and you must notify the campus principal, even though an issue is still at very initial stages. Your campus principal must know. So, but the campus principal is the ketua rumah. You don't go sideways and do your own investigation, baru you inform your campus principal. No, you don't do that. He's the ketua rumah. Ketua rumah mesti tahu all the tingkah laku of the anak-anak. Correct or not? Okay. Now, once you have received the misconduct information, you then make a judgment call. Determine the level of misconduct. Minor or major? This is where you go into the deep end of the information. Kalau minor, lateness, go back to the file. Check. Pernah buat ke, tak pernah buat ke? Kalau minor, you address the informal discussion. We have discontinued counseling note, yeah? So if you are still using counseling note, please stop using counseling note. So we have an informal process. Use the informal template which is in your policy. Okay? Now, informal sessions, give and take. You can have 1 session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions. Three. Number 3 is always reasonable. That's what we say. But when I say informal means, don't like week 1 I give informal number 1. Then week 2 come informal number 2. Then week 3 informal number 3. Not like that, nah. Because you need time for the employee to change the behavior. Correct, no? You need time, you need to give time to the employee to modify his actions, his arrangements, his mental thoughts. You need to give them time. So monthly. Look at monthly. Always monthly. Each time you have an informal session, if you don't have a template, doesn't matter. You confirm the discussion via email as a minutes of your discussions. Okay? Now, when you do a confirmation of email with discussion, it should be done within 48 hours. Not 1 week later. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Calvin, now you and I had a meeting on the 1st of January and we discussed about XYZ. And I would like to recap on the conversation and take back. Today is what, 13th of January, I sent that email. Calvin being naughty, he would say, thank you for your email. However, I do not recall discussing point this, point that, point this. It can happen, huh? So your email to confirm the discussions you had must be done within 24 hours, maximum 48 hours. And I'm doing this because it's part of my own practice. And I'm very quick. Because your points are in your brains. You don't lose out. In all my meetings with all the HR meetings, I've always been very quick to sending emails to confirm any discussions. Why? Because I don't have to lose sight of the discussions. Okay? And if let's say this person is having problems, arrange for support. Now when I say arrange for support means you have to genuinely believe you are supporting the employee. You need to work with the line manager to support the employee. For example, a mom comes back after maternity leave. She's having emotional issues to leave a young baby behind. So she's adjusting her work hours in the first 1 month. So maybe in the first month after she comes back after 98 days, she's kind of late, occasionally, her mind is not there, thinking about the baby. Talk to the employee, provide support, maybe arrange for a flexi hour, maybe a 15 minutes tolerance, for example, until she gets back to normalcy. So the bottom line is, employees are human beings. They need time to adjust. Adjust means physically, emotionally, mentally. Don't immediately call a person, oh, you're late this week. Next week onwards, make sure you come on time. The mom is a new mom. Think. Okay? there is a repeat misconduct, then yes, monitor. Monitor, talk, show cause, warn. That should be the mantra. Talk, informal, show cause, warning. That is the mantra. Now these repeat misconducts, which are minor, can lead to major misconduct. Just a case in point. Repeat tardiness. Repeat missing deadlines. Repeat not following instructions. These are all repeat minor misconduct that goes to major. Now the moment it goes to major, that's when your show cause must be raised. Without moving forward with any other punishment, the show cause must be raised. Why? Because you're giving the employee an opportunity to explain. You may have your own assumptions. Line managers may have their own assumptions. Maybe the employee is not willing to speak up. So you're giving an opportunity for the employee to explain himself or herself. This is a process which is mandatory. You skip this, you're screwed. And then sometimes when you issue a show cause, you as an HR, you could be also the investigating officer. So at times, investigation will actually concurrently happen while the show cause letter is issued. Because you need to gather evidence in the event this goes to a domestic inquiry, not the court. Domestic inquiry. And make sure the employee replies. One day he refuses to reply, you issue him with a notice of DI. It's not your job to follow up and text the clerk. Make sure you reply, make sure you reply. That's not your job. And then you assess the reply, whether the reply makes sense to you, whether it's acceptable, not acceptable. If he is genuinely wants to explain himself, he or she will be very clear in the letter. So then you decide whether you want to give a warning or whether you want to proceed with the domestic inquiry. Now a domestic inquiry is only a last resort, meaning that the reply is sort of vague, it's insufficient, and bottom line you know is gross and you want to dismiss this person. So make sure your bukti is upo for your domestic inquiry. Warnings, minor, maximum 3 warnings. After that, the same repeat offense, you can move to a DI. And the DI can be dismissal, termination, demotion, salary reduction, it can be anything. But it has to be all done after a DI. Anyone has problems with this? Anyone doing something different than this one? Of course, they all won't say that. So now, your same case study, action plan again. Identify the possible discipline actions. Explain the rationale for the discipline action. Consider you. Now you are advising your campus principal. Okay? Any other actions needed? Explain the types of documentation or evidence to support. Draft an appropriate letter. Use the flip chart and your team members will need to present. You have exactly until 2 o'clock to do this. Alright? Alright, off you go. Team members get together, get working. Possible discipline actions. Yes. If you all need extra flip charts, there are flip charts here. Yeah. Don't take all, huh? But then 3 years later, the same incident happened. So how would you address that? Think about it. Discuss it later on. Okay? Think about it. If I was the HR manager at that point in time, I would look at the situation 3 years ago. I would definitely address what happened 3 years ago, but putting a notice to the employee to say that we notice that, in your show cause letter, you say that we understand that on August of 2021, a similar incident happened and you mentioned the show cause letter. And now this situation has happened again. Can you please give us your explanation? You can put that into your current show cause. Why? Because you're trying to show that there is a continuity of a similar action. Because you may not be the HR manager 3 years ago, correct or not? So always your records must be up to date all the time. There shouldn't be any missing information. Okay? Alright, back to your project. Don't forget you have to draft the letter, appropriate letter, whatever the letter is.
You know it's because it's like